going on YouTube? It's your boy Del back again with another reaction video, and this time we are going to talk about IROKO. We're going to react to IROKO from the Miami Salsa Congress from last year. This is the red piece that they, this is their second piece maybe? This is the red piece that they competed with at the summit this past January in 2020, but this is relatively new when they did it, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get it, guys. For one, I love the outfits. The outfits are dope. The red is really popping, and I'm just like your eye is drawn to it, right? So the guys and the women, just off the bat, I think they look super good. They look super professional. So kudos to them for whoever put those outfits together. That's a little tricky. Check this out. Check out my man in front. Watch out. He's gonna go into an inside turn. That to transition. That's tricky. He went from a hammerlock to boom, and then he used that as a way to move it. So a lot of times, in order to make floor changes happen, you gotta there's so many different ways. Sometimes people are like, just keep it simple, just move, and other times, people tend to do it a little bit tricky or whatnot. So that was a cool way to do it. So I know one of the girls on stage, she is currently to Denise's right. Her name is Tabitha. She's from Chicago. So good job, Tabby. I see you doing your thing. One of the things that I've always been so fascinated with is people who come from Yamule and they do things that aren't like Yamule. I've talked a little bit about this in some of the videos, that there's two kind of main schools of thought. There's kind of the way that Eddie pioneered and the little offshoots of that. Some of the offshoots might be some of the handsy stuff that you'll see. And then there's the other school of thought, which is kind of what was might introduced, which is like a more spinny and directional changey kind of way to do things, which is breaking Eddie's, I don't want to say like system, but like he had a way to do it. There was a beginning and an end to it, and Osman kind of flipped that, and the beginning and the end was anywhere you wanted it to be, which I've always been of the opinion is a much more free way to choreograph because there's no limit. A lot of times when you're taking a 6/7 in your basic and when you're dancing salsa too, it doesn't necessarily always fit. You know what I'm saying? So like you have an opportunity to do a lot more with flexibility of not having to always take those back breaks or whatnot. So getting back to the point, I've always been kind of fascinated by some of the dancers coming out of there who don't dance like that when they're choreographing, like they choreograph a more traditional way. And this is a case of that, because this partnering, while it looks amazing, it's clean and it's awesome, it doesn't look anything like where the roots of the learning came from. And I think it's just interesting because they're choosing to do it a certain way, they're interpreting the music in a certain way. It's just interesting to watch it. One of the things I really like about the two of them is, speaking of Ernesto and Denise, is they've done a really good job of getting their people to match their movements and to look like them. And I really like the way Ernesto dances, kind of kindred spirit. Like I just like the way he moves. Like he's got a really cool style. He reminds me of someone that I know who's just kind of a natural, but he's big with it. He's open about his body. You can see when you watch him dance or watch a kind of a workshop or whatever, he's just really wide with his movements, which reads well on stage because you want to be big, right? So yeah, and definitely, and Denise is holding it down in the middle for sure. She's got those ladies looking good. Like everyone looks good. They look together, you know what I'm saying, as a company. For the record, I a lot of times when I've been to events, I've danced with some of the people who are stars, and a lot of times people can be kind of honestly, they can be kind of assholes, stuck up, whatever, and all that stuff. I will say, without question, she was very lovely to dance with. She was very fun, kind of doing her thing, still dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like, for someone like me who kind of had fallen off for a while doing my whole little ballroom sidetrack, once I came back, it's kind of like getting acclimated with the community, you know? And it's just kind of cool to see the way people are interacting, who's got a good vibe, who's a little stuck up, who believes their own hype. You know, you can always be humble. So good on Denise for being super cool. I always love watching the guys get moments themselves, you know, because again, I've said it in the past, women always get moments, but sometimes guys, we don't get those moments. So good on them. There's a little bit more of what I was referring to. That whole little partnering section. Watch that again. That's cool because now I see like sprinkling some different kind of styles. That's cool, and that's always how I think that you can find your voice, like taking everything at your disposal, right? Not just doing everything a certain way. Which, like I said, I wasn't proposing to just do it like the Osmada way because that's Osmada, right? You never want to just kind of swagger jack somebody, but if you have those experiences and those ideas in your head, like, you know, utilize those tools that you have at your advantage, but mix and match things that you think would fit in your way. Because what we're seeing ultimately at the end of the day is someone's interpretation of a song that they like, that they want to do something to, you know what I'm saying? So by all means, use everything at your disposal, not just one thing. It's classic stuff. Really nice. I like the way they made that floor change happen. That was really cool. When I'm watching this, I'm really watching everyone's. I've said this many times in the past. One of the things that I struggle with is my performance quality. So I really admire people who are doing it. I definitely see the ladies giving more facials than the guys. The guys were kind of more intense and purposeful. I would love to hear anyone's thought on how you, as a guy, like how you get through that. Because is it just a matter of being swaggy? Is it just a matter of like being intense and smiling, or the confidence? Always it's going to be the confidence being on there, right? But like, I just don't. I know a couple of people who are very facial with their dancing, especially competitors, and I just like to see someone who's more natural. So when Ernesto was doing his part in front, he was intense, but then he smiled because he looked out and stuff. It was cool. I appreciate moments like that. Excuse me. Woo! Did you guys see that? Anyway, moving on. Hit that baby. See, that partnering now was more classic. Yeah, all this is very classic. That trick was beautiful. It was perfect, and it was really synchronized. Really, really good job, everyone, on that. That was awesome. It's amazing. Hey! Hey! That was awesome. That was amazing. All six of them. Dope, 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 dope. Da, 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 da. I need one more. Dope. That was amazing. That was everything. That was my favorite thing ever. I love it. That was the best thing. Honestly, no, I love the piece. That piece is dope as hell. But that's probably my favorite part of everything that just happened because of what they did. So awesome job. great performance. Really, really clean. Super together. Super flavorful. Loved it. Got nothing but positive things to say about it. Y'all keep doing your thing. Much love from Chicago over to New York City. Keep doing it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.